Hello and welcome. So I've been sent a new action camera by Akaso, and it is this, which is the Brave 7, not to be confused with the Brave 7 LE, which is the older model. This is the new and improved, and this is brand new. The difference between the Brave 7 LE and this one, the Brave 7, is that this one now features voice control. They've improved the waterproofing up to IPX8 rather than 7. Importantly, they've put in the ability to put an external microphone on this, and you now have the ability to switch between the front and the rear screen of this action camera whilst recording. They've also added a 3x digital zoom to this as well, and a smart remote controller. So on the face of it, this looks like a decent camera. These Akaso cameras, to me, as far as I can tell, they're billed as a kind of a budget version of a GoPro. And while the latest GoPro will set you back kind of £500, then you have to buy all the mounts and things on top of that, so you could pay £650 for. This, in the box, contains sort of everything you'll need to get going, including, you know, battery chargers and mounts and all that sort of stuff. And these cost, at the time of recording, they're about $150, which equates to £120, £130. So to get all of that for £120, to me, is an absolute bargain. But is it any good? That's the question. Now, Akaso sent me this free of charge, but I'm not receiving any payment, and I've not been asked to say anything in particular. They want me to test this and give an honest opinion. So that's what I intend to do. And I don't think this will compare with a kind of the latest GoPro, but I think one of the kind of the GoPro 5 or the 6 or maybe even the 7, I think this will give a run for its money. And it's not my intention to go through the technical specifications, because I don't know enough about cameras. But what I can give you is a kind of hands-on, you know, how I found it as a camera user. You know, I use action cameras all the time in what I do on my channel. So I'm going to put this through its paces like I would any other camera, and I will let you know how it goes. So firstly, I'm going to get it out of the box. We're going to look at everything you get in the box, and then I'll charge it up and we'll start the testing. And reading the side here: voice control, adjustable viewing angle, driving mode, enhanced image stabilization 2.0, supporting external mics, multiple shooting modes, wireless remote control, slow motion. You know, there's a whole lot going on here. And what it says is in the box is the camera, a frame for the camera, a remote control, the battery charger, 2 batteries, 7 mounts, 2 helmet mounts, lens cloth, handlebar mount, 5 straps, 5 zip ties, USB cable, 2 sticky pads, and the instructions. So as I said, you know, you get a lot in this box. So the camera slides off its little mount, and that's pretty neat, isn't it? I say that's the front facing screen. Then you've got the rear touch screen as well. That is the remote controller, so that's a nice touch, having the ability to just press record. I think that's works up to 10 meters away. That's a battery, user manual, charging cable, and look at that. That's a ridiculous amount of goodies. Fair play. Another battery, battery charger, get that in and charge it up in a minute. Yeah, so those are sticky sort of helmet mounts. That's the handlebar clamp. This is IPX8 waterproof, so that means you can go down, I think, to up to 5 meters for a certain length of time, which is ample for most people's needs. So what you've got in the box is everything you need to get started, with the exception of the external mic, which, you know, a microphone is a personal choice, and the SD card, which I have one in the house. So I'm going to get this all set up and then we'll start testing. Okay, I think we're all charged up, so I've been playing with this a little bit. The menu is pretty self-explanatory. You know, you press on video and you can change. You've got slow motion, time lapse, normal photos, driving mode, which looking at the instructions, that is when you mount it on your dashboard and you plug it in via your cigarette lighter or something similar in your car. When you then turn your ignition on, it powers on the camera, and I think it starts recording as well. And then when you turn your car off, it powers it down again. So that's pretty good. It's like a dash cam kind of thing. And then you've got Wi-Fi. You switch the Wi-Fi on to connect to the Akaso app on your phone, which I've got, which is pretty user friendly. Your footage is on there. There's some sort of sharing and stuff you can do. So that is the menu, and then we got the sort of standard menu where you can adjust your resolution, 1080-60. That is what I normally would record in, just because the files are a lot easier to handle on the computer, so I'll probably put it on that. Image stabilization, you can switch that off and on. Slow motion, you can go up to 1080, 90 frames a second, so that's reasonable. We'll test that out in a bit. Time lapse interval, you know, you can go down as low as 2 seconds or up as long as a minute, so you can do some pretty cool stuff with the time lapse. You can adjust the duration, so you know, up to an hour. Audio record, so you can switch on the audio or have it switched off, it depends what you're doing. And then, you know, all the other stuff, you got scenes that you can put in, you've got filters that you can use, so that's all pretty cool. Plenty of options to play with. Swipe down is a quick method of powering it off or locking it. Swiping up, you can adjust whatever you've got it on. I've got it on time lapse because that's what I was just messing about with. And then in the settings here, you've got voice control, you can turn that off and on. You know, you can play with the key tones and things like that. Distortion, calibration. Angle is, you know, how wide you film, you know, whether you want it in wide or a kind of narrow field. I'll probably keep mine reasonably narrow. Remote control, that's the remote control for it, so we'll have a look at that in a sec. Auto low light, adjust the ISO, and then they're just general normal settings you get. You can swipe to the side to switch it to photo, swipe to the side again, it goes back to video. That's the settings I put in, 1080-60. And then you've got these side buttons. So from memory, I think holding the down one turns on the Wi-Fi. Nope, holding the down one turns on the front facing screen. So that switches between the two. So that turns on the Wi-Fi, so that will then, you know, on the app it asks for this code, but it just remembers it. Once you put it in once, it's fine. And you just press the up key there to turn off the Wi-Fi again. And you obviously got in your memory card, you know, I've got some footage on here, but I've got an hour and 43 left, so that's handy that it shows you that. It tells me that the sound is on for recording. If you turn off the sound, that's got to cross through it. And then here, you know, you can scan through some of your footage. So that's the layout of the camera. Okay, so stick it in its case. That's pretty straightforward. I've just got a little baby tripod. This is one of the fittings that comes in the box. Screw that to a standard tripod. Slot that in. And we are good to go. Yeah, overall thoughts, you know, the buttons are a little bit sort of clunky. The bottom one to flip the screen, that seems to be okay, but the Wi-Fi one, you seem to have to kind of press it quite hard to turn that on. But the screen swapping button seems okay. It looks nice. I think the menu is good. The menu's, you know, easy enough to navigate. Okay, and so I guess this is a decent time to test out the microphone quality. This is using the built-in mic, and I've got the front-facing screen running, which you can see, and that's really handy. I'm a big fan. We're indoors, so the light isn't the best. I'm in a bit of shadow because my window's behind me. So yeah, this is the sound quality. Obviously, my camera that I normally use, I've got quite an expensive microphone on there. This won't compare to that, but hopefully the sound on here isn't too bad. The remote control. Switch it on. Turn your remote on. And then you swap between photo and video. Press record on there, and we're off recording on that. Easy enough. Turn it off, and off it goes. Switch it over to photo, and you take a picture. Handy thing to keep in your pocket. So I'll come outside for a minute and just do a bit of wind testing, because it's quite windy today. The wind's blowing towards me, but we'll have a little look at some of the footage as well. I'm going to go down the beach tomorrow, so I'll take it with me down the beach, and we'll have a proper look. But birds are singing in the hedge. I don't know if you're picking them up. Dogs barking over there. It's all going on. But yeah, I realised that I'd left the date stamp on. So I've switched that off now. It comes as sort of part of the factory settings, but you can go in and turn it off. So I've now turned on the image stabilization, so we should get a slightly steadier picture. I'm just walking down the road. It's a grim grey day. The sun's just come out between the clouds over there, so that's nice. Picking up the greens. Okay, so what you just saw was some test footage down the beach when I was out walking with the family. Final thoughts on the Akaso Brave 7 then. In all honesty, think it's okay. I think it's comparable with maybe the GoPro Hero 5 Black. It's comparable in cost, given that this is just over £100. You get the Hero 5, I think, for about 150, 160, but you know, you still have to buy mounts and things separately. Having everything in the box ready to go for just over £100 it's a really good deal, but I don't think the camera's quite there. I think it's a brave effort. There are good things and bad things about it. I'll try and list them, you know, in some semblance of an order. So, good things about it: the front-facing screen is the best thing about it. I think that's really nice. It's so helpful. Switching between the two is good. Battery life on this is good. I think it lasts marginally longer than a GoPro. The user interface is easy to navigate. The app for it is easy to navigate, and it's actually pretty decent. The sound quality is okay on this, but I think it just falls a little short as far as the footage goes. I mean, you've just watched the footage. It's not too bad. The slow motion is good. I think that works well. The time lapse is good. The image stabilization works, which, you know, comparing it with the Hero 5, which has no image stabilization, then this is winning. But I think just the quality of the footage, I think because they use slightly older chips in this, it's just not quite sort of at a professional level. But as an entry-level camera, you know, if you want to record, you know, family time, if you're just starting to make YouTube videos, I think it's okay. It's pretty decent, and for the price, they've done a good job. But for me personally, I think it just falls a little short. But it's a decent little camera, you know, it's okay. Everything works, but I think the footage is just, there's something about it, you know, it's just a little bit flat. When the stabilization's on and you're walking around, there's just a little bit of a lag. It's just something I can't quite put my finger on. But as I say, entry-level camera, this is okay. My son has started his own little YouTube channel where he's doing scooter tricks, you know, down at the skate park and all, and I think this would really suit him because he can put it on slow-mo, he can see himself to set up his shots. So I think for him this is a good little camera, and I'm going to give it to him and he can have it, so he'll be using this from now on. But for me, it's just not quite there. But I want to thank Akaso for sending me this. It was really fun testing it out, and I do like it, and there is a lot to like about it. I'm not saying I don't like it, but yeah, I think it's just not quite there for me. I'll put a link in the video description if you want to take a look at this for yourself. You know, as a budget model camera, it's pretty decent. As an entry-level camera, it's pretty decent. If you're looking for the wow factor, I think you've got to pay the £500+ that you would have to pay for one of the leading brands. But as a sort of budget alternative, this one's worth considering. So, thank you for watching. Thank you, Akaso, for sending me the camera, and see you next time. Bye for now.